In this video, I am going to show you how to set up your loom for weaving on a paper plate. So your first step is to have a paper plate and some sort of thing to write with to make some marks. I find the easiest way is to think of your plate as a clock and make 12 marks because that's the easiest way to make it pretty even. So it's easiest for me to just make marks, but if that's not working for you, you definitely could use a ruler and help make those marks like that. You could even measure if you wanted. It doesn't matter too much if they're exactly precise. So what I do is separate my plate into 4s too first, and I have 12 and 6 and my 3 o'clock and my 9 o'clock. And then I know that each of those 4 get split up into 3. So I just look and see how I could split that one up into thirds, this one up into thirds, and this one in thirds, and this one in thirds. The only thing about circle weaving is you don't want to have an even number, you want to have an odd number. So after I make my 12 that are pretty well spaced apart, I still look to see if there's a spot that ended up a little too wide that I could add a spot to. So I'm looking at like right here might be a little too wide, so I'm going to add my uneven mark there. Your next step is to get your scissors and to make those marks into some cuts. So I'm slicing them about a ½ inch or so. As long as it's deep enough for your yarn to sit in. It can get a little frustrating if you don't cut them deep enough and your yarn is falling out all the time. So I'm just gonna make those slits really quick. I don't know where I started, I think right there. Yep. All right, so now my paper plate is ready to start setting up with yarn. Just a quick tip, when you are doing this, you want to make sure you have enough yarn to go all the way around, just like the cardboard. So if you see a piece of yarn that looks like this, chances are as you start pulling from this, you're gonna get halfway through your loom and then realize that there's a giant knot and you have to start all over. So your best bet is just finding a really pretty looking yarn that has a lot less chances of having a really big knot in it. You could even pre-roll out some just to give yourself that satisfaction that it's okay. So your first step is to put it in a slit, leave a tail just like we did before with our cardboard, and you are going to go from one end to the exact opposite. Once you do that, I usually try to find where my middle is because that's where you want all yours to start falling. So now I know that those are opposite each other, so my middle is somewhat right there, and I am going to need a hole in there. So the easiest way to do that is to just grab a pencil and just stab your plate. And now I have a hole right in the middle of my paper, and now I can follow as I'm weaving back and forth with this. I can make sure that my lines are all crossing somewhere near that circle. So after I have one piece strung across, I'm going across and then under and then straight across, so you make sure it's falling on that circle. If all of a sudden I'm doing this, then I know that it's not anywhere near that circle and I need to find a different slit to put it in. So once I get it in there, I'm just going to the next one over. I know I can't go this way because there's already one here, so I'm going this way and going under, and then I'm going across and then under, across, under. This one's a little tricky. This one's the one that's across because it's right over there, and under, across, and so, and then under, and now I need a little extra slack, and the rest of the string, since we have an uneven number, it can't go all the way across or we'd make another even number, so we need it to go into this hole, and then our two pieces on the back, the one that we left at the very beginning and the one we just cut, can get tied together. And I'm going to cut off this extra so it doesn't get in my way. And now I am ready to start weaving.